Welcome back to the channel and happy Easter. We split the house in two for Easter this year because we have a little bit of a COVID outbreak, so pardon the change of surroundings. Today we've got the Tiny Board Mini. I've already shot a couple of videos on this which you may have seen already. That's a range test for the stock 90mm wheels as well as the 105 cloud wheels, so go check that out for some further impressions as I'm riding the board as well. So the board comes in two configurations. The $579 configuration here, which comes with the Samsung battery. It's a 5 amp hour, 180 watt hour battery with a 40 amp discharge rate. It's a Samsung 25R cells. That battery there is actually rated for 12 miles or 19 kilometers. In my range test on the 90mm wheels, I think I got something like 15 kilometers and 13 or so on the cloud wheels. There's a 629 version with an 8.7 amp hour battery, comes in at 313 watt hours. It does increase the weight of the board by 600 grams or just over a pound, and that isn't a Samsung cell, it's actually a Chinese cell. It's called a DMGC, so it's not a cell that I'm familiar with, but the board or both batteries actually come with a 12-month warranty on the battery. There is a third size option I did see for the battery, which is bigger again. I think it was a bigger Samsung battery and it was over 10 amp hours. But it since seems to have been removed from the website. I don't know if it's coming back or not. If you are sitting on the fence between the two batteries, if you go onto the website for the board, Tiny actually direct you towards going that Samsung battery. And I would say the same thing. At least you know what you're getting. You are getting a smaller range, but you are getting that, better known brand. And over time, you would expect that it will be the better of the two batteries. So the stock wheels on the board are 90mm and they are 62mm wide with a 78A gerometer. I think they're pretty good for stock 90mm wheels. I've had a lot of fun on them, but you can also order the board with 105 cloud wheels. Obviously that's gonna cost you a bit extra because you can't choose between one and the other. You actually have to buy them on top of the purchase price. If you're on the fence, I would say see how you go with the 90mm wheels. But the cloud wheels don't reduce your range too much from my testing, and they are going to be a lot more comfortable. But keep in mind, they do prop you up that little bit higher, which is always more noticeable on a shorter board. So I really prefer the carving feel on the stock wheels. But if you are going the bigger battery and you want to use this board to commute, I think go the 105 cloud wheels as an extra. Just to get the added safety and comfort. But keep in mind, don't use those in the wet because I've come off very easy in the rain. Further comment to the cloud wheels I want to make is that they do reduce the torque a little bit as well. But the board is super torquey, and I think that's a good thing with this board, especially if you're a new rider, that it tones it down a little bit, because even on the lower speed modes it still gives you a bit of a punch off the line. So I think that's a little bit easier to ease into riding, especially if you're not familiar with skateboards. I think you'll be a lot more comfortable on those. So the board comes with Hobbywing motors, 5255 motors, rated at 875 watts. I've seen some conflicting information on the page. I believe the 875 watt motors, but there is one picture that indicates that the 600 watt. All I can say is they're plenty powerful enough for me on a short board, and I really wouldn't want to go any faster. So the motors are paired with a Hobbywing-esque, one of the newer ones, so it's got the smart turn on as well as coming with a stock standard remote controller. So the motors, or the speed maxes out at 23 miles an hour or 38 kilometers an hour. I think that's plenty fast enough for a short board. If you do want something faster, you'd have to look towards a Meepo Mini 2, something like that, which can go over that 40 kilometer mark. From my experience, I never felt too comfortable on my Meepo Mini 2 going that fast, so whether you utilize that or not is up to you. I don't think short boards need to go over 40 kilometers an hour. And yes, I have got to that max speed multiple times. you aren't going to sustain that full speed over the ride, which I've noticed it does drop off a few kilometres as the battery wears down, so keep that in mind. The deck is made up of 8 layers of Canadian maple, and it might look very familiar to you because it is based on the Boosted Board Mini. They also claim that they use the same manufacturer as Evolve, so take that as you will, good or bad thing. I think it's really comfortable, and I've noticed really minimal foot fatigue on my rides with it so far. So I've been really pleasantly surprised given the length of this board. It can be a little bit less comfortable to ride, but I think it feels really good, locked in, and you feel safe on that. There's a kicktail there too, and I've just noticed that Tiny has announced that all Tiny Minis will now come with a brake pad installed. So this one you'll see doesn't have one on there, but any board that you order from now on will do, so I think that's fantastic. The board is IP54 rated for Dust and Splash 2, and the enclosures are screwless, which look like a really nice design as well. And the plastic that's used is really good quality, and I would compare it more to something like an Evolve battery enclosure than some of the cheaper Chinese boards. So the trucks, if you order this board today, are 7-inch PE treated T6 trucks. They say that these trucks come with a lifetime warranty, and they're an upgrade on the V3 Paris clones. That's what I've got on this board, and I think they're really good. So if they think they're better, give them a go. I can't imagine they'll put on any trucks that will be worse than what came on the board originally. So as mentioned with the batteries, they come with a 12-month warranty. That extends to the rest of the board too. So I think that's really good comparing to some of the other brands on the market. You're seeing 3 months and 6 months. It's quite rare outside of the bigger brands like Evolve to see 12 months warranty, especially with a new brand on the scene like this with Tiny. So I think that's a really good way to push themselves into the market and have a bit of a point of difference. And you can take more comfort buying a newer brand which hasn't built such a reputation, so I think that's a smart idea. Customer service has been really good from my interactions with Tiny. Super quick response, and I see they are really engaged with the community on YouTube and Instagram, so they do look to be improving. They've made several changes to this board already. Instead of releasing a whole new model and making people feel like they've missed out. They also claim that they only make 10% profit on these boards, so you might not see them advertised a lot. I do think they're quite transparent with the board description that extends to the range and everything like that. So it's really good to see so far, and also I've noticed that they seek a lot of community interaction, so you know, designing their new board, their logos, things like that, their new controller, constantly engaging with the community, so I think that will get them a long way. Alright, let's go take the board for a spin, and then I'll come back with my final thoughts. I really don't think there's many changes I would make. I would like to see an option with a bigger Samsung battery. I do think that would be a critique for some people, and they don't want to go into an unknown brand of battery. So if they could bring out that third option of battery again, that would be fantastic. Something I'd like to see on all short boards with a kicktail is that brake pad, and that's already been corrected since the purchase of this board. So really good on Tiny for correcting that. I do think the option of buying the board with just the cloud wheels would be a good option too, but you're not seeing that across the board, but who knows, maybe that will come one day. Now, who do I think this board is for? I do think anyone at any level would really enjoy this board. So if you're looking to get into electric skateboarding, yes, I do think this board is gonna give you enough fun and entertainment to stay with it for a while. So I think spending the extra $100 or $200 from some of the cheaper boards that you can get will save you jumping up after owning those for a few months when you get bored, since it does have the top speed, has good motors and all the rest. If you don't have a short board in your lineup already and you're looking for one, definitely I think this is a good option. There are some other options around that price range and I haven't tried them all. However, for my money, I don't think you can go wrong with this board here. A recommendation I would make and would like to see with a new iteration with this board, potentially be a bit more of the Tiny board brand identity coming in. So it does look very booster board, and that's certainly not a bad thing, especially when you are a new brand. You want something that's recognisable and not too crazy or different, and I like that they don't have a whopping big logo on that board. However, the next board I would like to see Tiny's identity coming into a little bit more, so we'll see what happens there. If you would like to grab this board, I do have a link down below. If you follow that link, I get a slight commission on your purchase, and if you use the code Grizzly, you'll get $10 US off your board purchase. If you liked the video, if you found it helpful at all, drop a comment below. I would love for you to subscribe as well and hopefully get to 100 subscribers, and then we'll go up from there. And I'll check in with you on the next video. Cheers, bye.